We are already 3 episodes within Volume 5 of RWBY, and so far, tons of stuff has happened so far. Ozpen revealing his secrets, Adam taking over the White Fang, and of course, wife getting kidnapped by Raven. But of all these things, this is not even the biggest topic so far around the community. I'm like, how come? Until I see episode 3. And it's one scene that only happens for less than a second, and already this is the most talked about thing. And that is, of course, the ships. No matter how big, no matter what happens in the show, the biggest thing is always the ships. I don't know why, it just is. But yeah, so far, the biggest one, like, it was so big that it literally replaced BumbleBee ship. Like, no one's even talking about BumbleBee no more. BumbleBee, like, the giant infinite ship of them all in this community. But now, we are talking about Rose Garden. Rose Garden is pretty much the shipping of Oscar and RWBY. And usually when there's a ship going on in this community, it's most of the times highly praised and they would like to see it canon. People are okay with it. But for some reason, this seems to be one of the most hated ships ever created. Despite the fact that it seems not all the way reasonable because they just met, but the fact that that 1 second scene that caused everybody to go, okay, I'm shipping them, and I see points on both sides, pretty much. One side, they like it because they seem adorable with each other, and the point that they were looking and already giggling at each other. Okay, that's interesting. And believe it or not, that's how most things happen in animated shows and even movies, where there's these two people who never met before and they're oddly looking at each other and giggling. Usually it does reform into a relationship, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's just up for opinion. But however, what I don't like is the hypocrisy that's going on within this ship. I don't like how the people who are hating on it for the dumbest reasons of all, like seriously, like you should literally hear the reasons I've heard. Like I even posted a question yesterday, and I got like nearly hundreds of responses already to it. I asked, what do you guys feel about Rose Garden? And here are some of the things that some people say. For instance, people say Rose Garden is stupid because Oscar is too young for her. Okay, Oscar is 14 years old. RWBY is 16 years old. There is nothing really wrong with that. In fact, majority of the times when people are married and have kids, most of the times the mom and dad are usually 2 or 3 years younger or older from each other. There has been stories where younger people would date older people. There are stories where a guy would marry a mom who's 5 years younger than them. And there's been stories of a guy who would marry someone who's even 10 years older than them. There's completely nothing wrong with that, as long as they're within the legal age standards. Then yet again, they don't live in America, so of course the age restriction is completely different for each country and of course different for each world. So we can't really say that. Plus we have the confirmation of Oscar's age, so there's nothing wrong with it so far. Okay, now what's the next one? Rose Garden is stupid because they haven't met yet. They have met. So yes, they met. Yeah, Rose Garden is stupid because they haven't shown that they like each other, or they didn't even smile at each other. Okay, they have met. They awkwardly giggled, like I said earlier. But then yet again, you people were shipping RWBY and Weiss like crazy, even they didn't really like each other. RWBY was trying to like her, but Weiss didn't like her at the same time. Even though I see it as a best friend thing, everyone else saw it as pretty much a ship thing. How could you be so hypocritical shipping something like White Rose, where they're like best friends and they didn't really like each other from the beginning, compared to this? Like it's hypocritical. Like, I don't understand why you guys do that. Okay, next one that I got from response. It's stupid show because it's going to become Ozpen. Because he's going to become Ozpen. Yes, it is true. However, as Ozpen stated, that as time goes by, their souls will merge as one. Meaning Ozpen with all the memories and all that stuff. So it will be a new person, but he'll be called Oscar Ozpen. It depends. However, the whole entire goal so far in RWBY is to destroy Salem. And with the, well, I believe only 110 episodes, I believe, of RWBY so far. So if they do destroy Salem at the end of the show, more than likely the curse on Ozpen will be lifted. So therefore Ozpen won't be around no more. So Oscar will go back to being Oscar again. and it depends how long it takes for the merging of two souls to even happen. I don't think it's something that happens over a couple of weeks. I believe it takes time. Like, the body has to get used to the soul itself, so I don't think it's going to happen overnight, people. So with that being said, we already know the end game, knowing how this is supposed to be something about how fairy tales are supposed to pretty much good defeat evil. So we already know that Ozpin's going to eventually disappear, that when they defeat Salem, his curse is lifted. So there'll be no more Ozpin after that. And well, that depends if the story does go that route, which I do believe it will. So yeah, so far we have that. Next, the ship is pretty much is stupid because Ozpin is still in him. Why? That just pretty much answers the same thing I said. Literally, that's the same thing I just said. It's like pretty much everyone keeps saying the same things over again. Age difference or Ozpin's within him, so it's creepy. Okay, you guys think it's creepy because Ozpin's within him, and Ozpin has been living for thousands of years. But however, what you people don't understand is that Oscar is still his own person. So it's like having two souls inside him, but Oscar's still Oscar. And plus, let me use another example. Avatar, The Last Airbender, Aang. Aang is over 112 years old, and Katara is a teenager. If you want to get that mentally and technically about it, even though the Avatar ancestors all live inside of Aang, and of course that spirit has been existing for thousands of years, so technically Aang has, if you're not even counting Avatars, still has a 1,000-year-old spirit that lives inside of him. If you've ever seen Legend of Korra Season 2, where it tells the origins of the Avatar. So if you want to go that route, hey, there we go, because pretty much every Avatar has that spirit inside them. So therefore, yeah. So pretty much every person that Avatar has dated and married has already pretty much been through it. And you can also say the same thing with another show called Wakfu, where Dali himself also was a Yap god, and he would constantly reincarnate. And he would also gain all the memories and experience he had from the former Yap gods. So therefore, it's still invalid. I mean, they were still going to live their lives and marry people within that time. So your argument is still invalid. So, end of the day, I could care less, really. You know, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'm actually here just for a story to enjoy it. But however, this was such a big topic, I just really wanted to have my hand on it. And I usually don't care about ships, you know, because I always think it's annoying and a nuisance. But when I hear about this oddly put a smile on my face. Like, yeah, they do seem adorable with each other, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could, it probably might, it might not. We don't know. But the point is that you should just enjoy the story and just wait for the show to end. You know, there's no point. It's not going to happen now. You don't need to shove your opinion in everyone's face and think it's supposed to be a fact. Because at the end of the day, it's still an opinion, okay? So wait until it happens. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So yeah, that's all I got for this video, man. What do you feel about Rose Garden? What do you feel about it? Is it the goodest ship or is it the bad? Because so far, this is the biggest one. Like, this is bigger than BumbleBee. And BumbleBee took 2 years in order for it to resonate, like the ending of Season 2. So, yeah. Now, I enjoy Rose Garden. It seems adorable, but this is actually the first one I'm actually into. So yeah, all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. I'll be much obliged. This is Madcrownxox, sign out.